Hello and welcome to the Mind Detox podcast. I'm your host, Sandy Newbigging. I'm a trauma-aware therapeutic coach and meditation teacher known for unifying therapy and spirituality, and I'm the author of 12 books, including New Beginnings, Mind Calm, and Mind Detox. I've also been teaching my insights and techniques via my award-winning academy for almost 2 decades. For this podcast, I usually share extracts from my Calm Clan community webinars. I'm also sometimes joined by guest experts for the occasional chit-chat. All so you can heal the hidden causes of anything problematic going on in your life, and so you can access more peace and enjoy the best life possible. I've been a monk and had to get myself out of a spiritual cult. I have a busy clinic with lots of fascinating clients, stories and takeaways. I'm usually creating a course or writing a new book, and I'm on my own journey of healing and knowing myself. So thank you for joining me for this episode. You never quite know what you're going to get, but I hope you get a lot from listening. And without further ado, let's begin. So hello and welcome to New Beginnings Part 2. Well, it's a Calm Clan meeting, but we are keeping to the theme of New Beginnings this April, and with hopefully some helpful reminders and a couple new insights maybe here, you never know. And also a new meditation. We're going to share a new meditation at the end of today. Again, instead of going over all 10 inner teachings in the New Beginnings book, I thought for this meeting, I would just cover a couple of them, the ones that really jumped out at me when I was preparing today for you. Things that I feel I have either recent examples of, or maybe a slightly different take on than before, or I just fancy talking about. You may remember that the key message last time was, for manifesting miracles, you need to know your what. You want to know your what and your why, and then be willing to engage however how shows up. And the reason for that simple strategy for manifesting miracles is that miracles are both improbable as far as the logical mind is concerned. So when you do think about it, if you get too caught up in the how, you can quickly talk yourself out of it, or it'll bring up the beliefs, unhealthy beliefs or whatever, that might convince you that it's not possible for you. So a miracle is improbable, and it's also from a surprising source usually. Okay? So if you have your ABCs and you think you're going to do A, B, and then end up at C and see your miracle manifested, good luck with that. Doesn't seem to be how it always works. But how it does seem to work over and over again is this: having an intention, being excited by it, letting yourself enjoy the future now, enjoy the thought of it. Let yourself be childlike with your imagination, and in essence, feeling eyes it into existence. And by feeling, it's about letting yourself enjoy the idea of it now. Even if you don't quite know how it's possible or going to happen. It's that how that, as kids, if we're lucky, we would have just thought about what we wanted for Christmas, for example, from Santa, and we just got excited about it. The how just didn't even show up. Maybe, well, the how was via Father Christmas, but you know what I'm saying? The how really wasn't much of a focus. It was about what I wanted and how I'm going to feel on that new bike when I'm riding down the street or whatever. We really allowed ourselves to enjoy it now, to associate what we wanted with, really, uplifting energy and emotions. And and the how was less of a focus. So remember that simple premise that we covered last time. Don't forget it. Miracles are improbable and often from surprising sources. And we do need to meet the universe halfway, sometimes more. There usually is a price to pay in any exchange, and we need to be willing to do whatever it takes. And that might appear like problems, but we're going to talk later today why that they might not be such problems as we might think they are. But anyway, let's get started with the first inner teaching that I want to talk about today, which is the first inner teaching. Outer reflects the inner. Outer reflects the inner. And I love this teaching because it's empowering. If used with the right intent and from the right mindset. Sometimes when people hear the outer reflects the inner, they immediately turn into blame and shame themselves. Well, if this is happening in my life, then it's my fault, and they go into kind of the fault perspective. They start judging the hell out of themselves. They start becoming a victim of their own unconscious mind. They become they learn that, oh, my unconscious mind and my beliefs are important, and so I must make it pure. And if this is happening, it must be me. And that would probably not be the way I'd invite you to play with this inner teaching, okay? From an empowering perspective, it means that if we want to shift something in the external world, then we want to look internal to see if there's anything we can shift within ourselves in order to help that shift happen, help that thing come into our life, or that thing leave that problematic pattern, stop having to keep cropping up over and over again. So the outer reflects the inner is to recognize that I'm walking around in a 360 degree mirror, and it's reflecting back to me what I believe about myself, what I believe about money, what I believe about health, what I believe is possible for me. And in doing so, we stop being a victim to circumstances that are just happening to us that I have no influence over or I can't do anything about. It's just the focus is like, this is happening to me. And the outer reflects the inner is to acknowledge, actually, it's more this direction. What is occurring within here, what exists within here, is occurring outside. And so, when you squeeze a lemon juice comes out. When you squeeze an orange juice comes out. And if life squeezes you, whatever is already there tends to come out. And again, so it's not necessarily life that is causing this emotional issue. It's not it might be triggering it. It might be stimulating something, but it's not necessarily this life that had a vendetta against you that is causing these inner feelings or whatever. So this is where we really do want to do a little bit work on making sure that our beliefs that we carry every day are projecting and reflecting the kind of life that we would like. And it really is not complicated at the end of the day to know what your beliefs are, because you just have to look at your life. You just have to look at your life that's reflecting back to you. It's telling you exactly what your beliefs are. And it can be so obvious that we can miss it. And to do this, to share this, I have a very, very wonderful and recent case study and example to share with you. I had a client recently who had observed a pattern, or the possibility of a pattern showing up again for her in her current relationship in life. And she could almost see the writing on the wall because it happened, something similar had happened so many times before. She was in a relationship where she still felt like on her own in it, or she didn't have the commitment and the support that should be okay, whatever happened in the relationship. And why this was come up for her is because there'd been times in her past where she'd end up with nothing. A few times actually, and she was talking to me in this session about how she'd build things up and then she'd lose it. She'd build things up and she'd lose it, and so that's where we see a pattern. Now, if we don't take account of the outer reflects the inner, well, life just sucks. Life just has a vendetta against her, and she can't do anything about it. But we didn't take that philosophy. We didn't take that approach. We started exploring, what is going on in you that is helping this pattern repeat and repeat and repeat. And it hadn't happened again, but we were almost doing that session as a preventative measure. Would that be fair enough to suggest? It was more like a preventative measure. So, when exploring the story, we found out that when she was younger, she had a trust fund, and her mother managed to get into that trust fund and spend it all. So, like this thing that was supposed to either help her college or her future in whatever way, um, she ended up with nothing from that trust fund. And then she had a first husband, and when that marriage came to an end, they managed to use kind of a rule or kind of a movement in that particular state in the US, whereby it was kind of father's rights or husband rights or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but again, after legal fees, she ended up with almost nothing at the end of that marriage. Um, so then she got married again, and she was starting putting money into a house and investing into this relationship. And then at one point, she was like, maybe we should put my name on the house, and it didn't happen. And before you know it, that started the demise of that relationship. And again, she ended up with nothing. And so there was a pattern of having and then ending up with nothing. Does that make sense, guys? Can I have a nod to see what's going on? And so when we were exploring it, we came across a core belief. And that core belief was, I deserve nothing. I deserve nothing. And it was a belief that had cropped up and been a conclusion she'd come to at some point in her life based on what was happening at the time and many, many years ago in childhood. And the conclusion was, I deserve nothing. So remember, the outer reflects the inner. And the thing about our beliefs is they want to prove themselves right. They want to prove themselves right over and over and over again. Like that's their job. Um, I've often shared like how I used to have a belief that I'm not wanted or I'm unwanted. It came from a few instances in the womb and then at birth. And then it compounded with my brother and a few other things. And I had this belief I'm unwanted. And so when I got into relationships, I'd be fine and relaxed and nice to be around or whatever, until I realized that I loved them or they loved me or whatever. Oh yeah, that was actually another belief. People I love leave me. I had that belief too. But the people I love leave me belief and I'm unwanted belief would kick in every relationship, and I would get anxious, insecure, jealous. The person that he fell for had left the building when that belief got triggered, and eventually, the belief would be proved right, and people I love did leave me, and my mind was vindicated that yes, I am unwanted. I knew it. It was like this kind of, but the truth was, I was proving it. I was proving it. I was being a self-fulfilling prophecy, and so I urge you to explore how your outer might be mirroring and reflecting your inner. The good news is that beliefs are quite fickle because they aren't based on truth. They're usually based on feelings, not facts, or limited information at the time that caused us to come to an incorrect conclusion. And so personally, I prefer to refer to beliefs as conclusions because like beliefs are like this thing, like, oh, my beliefs, they happen to me. I can't do anything about them. They're like this mystical blob that is taking over and affecting me. But a conclusion I came to at some point in my life based upon the information I had available at the time. And with new information, I can come to a new conclusion anytime I want. And that really is how malleable the mind is. Given new information, it will come to new conclusions. And these old beliefs that might be having a negative impact on you can just be updated. Let's put it that way. They're updated. They're written over. That person that I did the case study for, do you mind if I share your your feedback that you sent me afterwards? Just a little bit of it. Is that okay? It just really touched me. It made me actually have a bit of a tear in my eye. So um I want to share the power of when you do find a core belief and you come to a new conclusion and you release it. Um, how that can have an immediate effect. So this is the feedback I got straight after that session. I feel like this black poison poured out of my chest when we found the core belief. It just poured and poured out as you sat with me and worked it all through. Now there's the space in my heart, just space, like an empty closet. I don't need to fill it back up with good thoughts. I'm just enjoying the clean and empty space. It's like I'm breathing for the first time. There's room. Part of me didn't want to write this down and send it to you. I just wanted to revel in it for a while, but it's imperative for you to know how instrumental you are in this world. Thank you just isn't enough. So thank you for that too. It's feedback like that that keeps me going 2 decades down the road. So thank you. But the point I'm making with that is how quickly once you um, clear the the kind of black poison beliefs, almost like the way she put it, how quickly it wants a part of you. It's not natural. It's toxic. The body wants to cleanse. The mind wants to cleanse. Your life wants to be free of it. Um, the deck is stacked in your favor of coming to that healthier conclusion. It's the path of least resistance. It's the healthier option, and your unconscious mind will always want to choose the path of least resistance and the healthier option. So when we present it with a belief that is healthier, which is easier, which doesn't cause so much strain and stress, struggle, heaviness, or limitation, it wants to choose it. Okay. So this teaching really sits at the heart of mind detox. Whenever I sit with someone and they're sharing these things that are happening to them, I'm curious what is occurring within them that is reflecting back in the external world. And that gets us back to a place of power. We're no longer a victim of circumstances just happening and I have to just weather the storm, but actually we can do something about it. And that's why it's empowering. It's empowering because we're no longer a victim to our inner beliefs or conditioning. And it's also for me really fun. It's like you can just play with having experiments. So if I change this belief, then what changes in the outside world almost automatically? You can engage this in a very playful way. Okay, so do we like a little update or that little reminder of the first inner teaching? Is that okay? Can you relate to it? Any beliefs come to mind if you look at your life right now? What's going on in it? Not from a place of fault or blame or, oh, it's my, or any of that self-violent stuff, but actually what part of me is playing a part in this? And if I was to shift something internal, how might that support my external world? The next inner teaching I want to talk about today, which I want to just briefly touch upon because it's relevant for our meditation that we're going to do in a bit, is the heart's highest hope. This teaching is really about recognizing, or you recognizing what your heart's highest hope is. Your heart's highest hope is what you want more than anything else right now. What do you currently want more than anything else right now? If you come up with some kind of external thing like a car or more money or whatever, ask yourself, what do I hope that would give me? Or if you come up with something in the external world, like no war there or whatever, ask yourself, what would that give me? What's my heart's highest hope? What I hope to achieve, what I hope to experience as a result of that happening. What will usually happen is we'll end up with an inner experience of some kind: peace, love, joy, freedom, contentment, abundance, connection, belonging, whatever. The first thing with the heart size hope is to recognize it's an inner experience and how much of our day is dedicated to that inner experience versus trying to fix, change, manage, manipulate, and control the external world so that hopefully one day we can experience that inner experience. We need to accept and recognize that it is an inner experience, and that's where I want to look for it. But how much of our day are we looking for it there versus outside once the X is fixed or changed or improved or whatever? How much of every day is dedicated to our heart's highest hope? How much of your day is dedicated to your heart's highest hope? Is it an afterthought? Is it something that comes to mind when you're having a bad day? You know, what do you want more than anything else? And how much of your day is dedicated to that? Write it on a few pieces of paper, stick your heart's highest hope, whether it's peace, love, joy, or whatever, on your fridge, stick it in your wallet, stick it anywhere you look often, maybe on your mirror where you get dressed. Stick it around the place to remind you of it so it stops being an afterthought. It needs to be our number one priority. I know it sounds very selfish to make it our number one priority, but everyone benefits if you're experiencing your heart's highest hope. Everyone benefits when you're experiencing your heart's highest hope. We need to make it our number one priority. And that by doing so, we stop exchanging this inner experience that's forever accessible, ever present, and we can only ever experience now. We stop exchanging that inner experience, that state of being. We stop exchanging it for stupid stuff like being on time, being right, winning an argument, not getting that parking ticket, or whatever it might be. Or it might be more serious stuff, like I'm dealing with a lot of money issues right now, or I've got a big health issue right now, or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's kind of like a silly thing or a major thing. I'm not here to undermine anything that you might consider as being serious in your life right now. But we still need to make it even 0.5% more important than that thing. Okay? If you can make your heart's highest hope even just 0.5% more important than the other stuff, then it's yours. Especially when you know where and how to experience your heart's highest hope. And we know in this club that we experience it by being here, fully here, undividedly here, completely here, bringing all of ourselves to the self that exists right here and right now. We stop looking for ourselves outside ourselves. We stop looking for our peace outside ourselves. Shift the direction of attention inward, and we start to align with that permanent presence within. We know how to do it. We just need to be here, and we bump into our heart's highest hope. It's the natural byproduct of not being somewhere else, not being in our mind, not being in judgment, not being in resistance, not being attached to other things happening, not over controlling, not being in the past and future. It's the natural byproduct of not doing all that stuff and just being. Which is why the next inner teaching is rest in being, by the way. It's a natural byproduct. It's your natural self. It's your birthright. It's what you are when you aren't being stuff you're not, or you're not postponing it. Now, here's the good news. Sometimes simply remembering your heart's highest hope is enough for you to return to it and to experience it again. There's not lots of A, B, C's and lots of steps to jump through and lots of hoops to jump through in order to experience it. Sometimes we just need to wake up from the illusion, wake up from the haze that we were in when we were just lost in our mind, feeling our thinking. Sometimes it's enough just to have the realization in that moment, oh, I've been somewhere else, trying to get my heart's highest hope somewhere else, and just be willing to rest internal. Come back to here, 100%. Not 99, 100. You see, if you're only here 99%, you're holding a bit of yourself back, and you're not completely surrendering to the moment. So heart's highest hope, it's a wonderful thing. It's an important thing. It's something that you can experience now, only now. And that's why the two following inner teachings after heart's highest hope is be here now and rest in being. So like I said, the next inner teaching is be here now, then rest in being, then live in love. And then we get to number 6, which is resistance is futile. And this is something that I really wanted to touch upon again today. Because the philosophy of new beginnings is really lovely when it comes to how to engage our day and everything that happens. And the invitation in new beginnings is to play with the possibility that everything is happening to help you. The minute you set the intention of your heart's highest hope, the whole universe will move in order to help you experience it. However, it doesn't always look like how you would think. You say to the universe, I'm done with this suffering. I'm done with this stress. I want peace. I'm going to make peace my number one priority. Or I'm fed up with these arguments. I'm fed up with feeling separate or lonely. I want love. And we put that stake in the sand or that flag in the whatever I'm trying to say. There's some kind of analogy or metaphor in there. And guess what? The universe goes, all right, so you want to know how to experience more love? Then here's a really annoying colleague. Here's a really annoying colleague that's going to press your buttons, the buttons that you need pressed and you need to see in order to be able to love better. I want peace. Well, here's all the things that you tend to make more important than your peace. Here they are. If you really want a consistent peace, then here's those things are going to happen that are going to help you to um, experience peace more often. You see, when you squeeze a lemon, lemon juice comes out. God, universe, source, spirit, or whatever knows your lemonade, knows your lemon, knows what if your squeeze comes out, and you're saying, I don't want this particular juice in me anymore, so I want a different one. I want a different flavor now, and so it's going to squeeze you so that juice comes out, so you can see it. Don't know how much longer I'm going to go with that analogy. I think I'll just stop there with that one. But my point is, it was already in there and it needed to be seen and surrendered. It needed to be healed. It needed to be evolved beyond in order for you to get your heart's highest hope. So that's why it's coming up. That's why it's happening. So many of the things that we might perceive are problems are the exact things that we need in order to learn something or heal something or evolve beyond something or whatever, so that we may experience our heart's highest hope or the thing that we might want. So resistance really is futile if you start to recognize that everything is happening to help you. Because by resisting it, you're resisting the very thing that's here to help you move towards the thing that you want. So resistance is only going to slow that. Resistance is only going to slow your evolution. It's only going to slow the healing. It's going to slow the learning. And this is, but there's a big learning in here. There's a big lesson within the teaching because we really need to start to understand the mechanics of problems. We need to understand the mechanics of the mind. We need to see that a conditioned judgment usually leads to something that the mind then deems as a problem. And then that problem, we then often reactively resist. And we're convinced that I'm feeling this way because of what's happening, because of this problem. But we're feeling what we're feeling because we've had an unseen judgment that we've believed is true and accurate and real and required. But most importantly, we believe is true. That judgment we believe is true. We believe that this is bad. We believe that this is wrong. We believe that this shouldn't be happening. So we've had a judgment that we've believed is true. We haven't seen through the illusion of that judgment. We haven't seen it as just a story that our mind is making up around a raw experience. We haven't seen that life is far more neutral than we might give it credit. Life is pretty neutral. It's happening. And then we decide if it's good or bad, right or wrong, better, worse, positive or negative, should be happening, shouldn't be happening. It's happening. We're attaching meaning to it. We believe it's a problem. So, what do we do about this? Well, we can argue all day about, no, this is really a problem. And we can come up with lots of examples of, are you saying that X isn't a problem? Are you saying that Y isn't a problem? And you can come up with lots of really justified examples to throw away this teaching and not apply it and continue with your problems. And if that's what you want to do, great. Go ahead. I can't do anything with that. However, if you would like to see a friendlier world, where the path is unfolding in front of you towards what you said that you want, and you're forever supported in manifesting miracles, If that's a kind of world you'd rather be experiencing, and there can still be it's not about denial or spiritual bypassing or anything, it's about a friendlier relationship with reality. I'm not asking to deny anything here. I am inviting you to maybe not jump to judgment so quickly. Or if you do jump to that judgment, see it as such. Not God's honest truth, but an opinion based on opinion. This appears to be a problem. If you still want to have problems, then at least put the word appears in there. Okay, just to soften a little bit, just to put a slight question mark over whether it is. It may not be what you think you wanted, but it may be exactly what you needed. We've heard this before. The judgment stops you seeing the miracles. It usually causes you to resist it. It definitely suppresses your joy and it makes life more of a struggle. If we believe the judgment is absolutely true. But here's the thing. How often has something that you thought was definitely 100% a problem at the time turned out to be exactly what you needed? When enough time has passed, when you've had a little bit more life experience and you've got the know-how, the knowledge, and the hindsight that you didn't actually have at the time. But how often does hindsight show us that it sucked at the time, but it was exactly what I need to get to where I am today? Or to make a change or for something good to happen? How often? And that's your homework. With 3 to 5 things, I'd love for you to consider how it might have helped you. Something that you were absolutely certain was a problem at the time, I'd love for you to really sit and consider how it may have helped you. This can crack the old mindset of problem solution, or whatever. It can just open up the possibilities of living in a friendlier world, supported, loved by the universe, provided for. I can't even put words to it. I just know that it shifts something internal that brings more inner ease, more love, more joy, and makes this world friendlier. And I don't know who wouldn't want a bit of that. Anytime your mind is like stamping at its feet, going, this is a problem, I'm absolutely sure it's a problem, da, 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 ask yourself, how might this be helping me? How might this be exactly what I prayed for? Just showing up in different clothes than I expected. I want to experience much more peace, and then you have an annoying colleague or employee or something who then shows you the judgments that were already there. It's already there. Squeeze an orange juice comes out. And if you can heal that, you will have more peace in the future moving forward because that type of person, that archetype, won't trigger you anymore. Won't when you're, they won't squeeze you anymore. So is that person hindering you and a problem, or are they helping you to evolve? Now, to evolve, we need to be willing to be things we've never been, do things we've never done, and have things we've never had. That's pretty much the definition of evolving. You know, is it important for you to evolve? If it's not, then what I'm saying right now doesn't matter. But if you would like to evolve and grow and transcend, and if that's a hobby or an interest of yours in this lifetime, then what I'm saying is really important because to resist life is to resist miracles. Okay? To resist life is to resist miracles. Everything we're resisting right now is our signpost and path of and to our heart's highest hope. All right? Everything we're resisting right now is the path. So we've been to this place and the garden doesn't get done and it's windy season and it's the dust bowl where we are and we're needing to like the dogs are completely mank it as I think it's a pretty good Scottish word. I don't know if it's a Scottish word, but it's a good word. Mank it, completely mank it. You touch them, it's like you tap them and it's like there's this steam. It's like they're steaming. I might share a video in the Telegram group later. So when you touch them, it's just like it's steam. They're not steam, it's just dust, right? And how is this happening to help me? It's what if it's happening to help me? And I'm not completely at the other side of knowing how yet, just for the record. I don't always have a finished case study for you, but I do know that I made a commitment a while back now, where I wanted to get off my laptop more. I wanted to get out of my head more. And I wanted to get more into my physical body and doing things physically. And then I complain when my dogs need me to give them a wee wash a couple times a day. You know, maybe, just maybe, as I sit here now, this is happening to help me on that journey of getting back into my body, getting back into the land, getting back into the doing, off the laptop and doing stuff that my mind has always in the past said is a waste of time. I should be saving the world or whatever, you know? So whatever is a problem in your life right now that's been bugging you or whatever, how might it be having to help you? And if you want to focus on that, how might it be trying to help you experience your heart's highest hope? Okay. Or if you have a particular goal, how might it be able to be helping you to get to your goal? Although it might not be the path and the stepping stone that you wanted, how might it be able, you might be able to use this in order to get to your goal? Okay. So we're looking essentially to speed up hindsight. Hindsight tends to, more often than not, show us, it might be after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, that I'm so glad I didn't end up with that person. I'm so glad I didn't end up in that job. I'm so glad I didn't end up in that house when I didn't get it when I was trying to buy it that day. I'm so glad or whatever. Hindsight usually at some point says, I'm so glad. And all I'm inviting you to do is to close the gap between now and I'm so glad. Close the gap between now and I'm so glad. How would your life be as if whatever happened, it was like this woohoo response? This, I'm so glad. Now, it doesn't always have to be immediate, I'm so glad. Some things you need to do look at, and I'm not inviting you to be toxic positivity or spiritual bypass or any of that sort of stuff. Use everything I share at the appropriate moment in the appropriate context, okay? But yeah, that's why I wanted to share Resistance is Futile. But I just wanted to return just briefly, I mean it briefly. It's all famous last words, but I mean it briefly. I want to return to compromise corrodes, teaching number 7, compromise corrodes. Because a compromise-free life is a free life indeed. A compromise-free life is a free life indeed. And compromise shows up in different forms. There's healthy compromise and unhealthy compromise. Healthy compromise is where you surrender your ego-based attachments and you're willing to maybe open up to compromise in a relationship or whatever and open yourself up to experiences and learnings and stuff that you might not have experienced if you were so rigid and no, this is all I do and I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to go there. I'm never going to experience that. I'm never going to eat that or whatever. So healthy compromise is I fancied a curry tonight, but my partner really wants a pizza, so I'll have a pizza. And it's okay. If you're doing it every single time and you never get to eat your curry, then I would say that becomes an unhealthy compromise. You see? So there's times when compromise is helpful, helps us to evolve, helps us to experience, helps us to connect, helps us to be less controlling, helps us to open up to unexpected fun things. And then there's unhealthy compromise. And that's the bit where I would invite you to do less of, stop completely if you can, because it is really corrodes. So peace, love, joy, contentment, miracles. So what is unhealthy compromise? Unhealthy compromise is when we consistently be, do, or have things that we know aren't right for us, but we continue anyway. We these things that we're being, doing, or having are in conflict with our heart, but our head is convincing us that we have to keep having them or doing them or being them. Compromise buys into the illusion or that you can't have what you ultimately want. Compromise gets us stuck. Compromise keeps us in the same job or same relationship or same situation for sometimes years, even though it isn't right for us. And it's corrosive. I believe it actually is one of the core causes of dis-ease that shows up physically. Chronic compromise, not being on purpose, not being on our purpose, not aligned with what we're here to be, do, and have, and not aligned with where we're meant to be and where we're meant to be doing and having, etc., etc. Conflict, sorry, harmful compromise. It's so harmful because it creates a conflict. It creates a conflict internal between the head and the heart. But here's the thing, no end of intellectual convincing in the head can ever override or convince the heart of what it really knows. Compromise requires us to ignore our heart and to rely too heavily on our head. And it's the thief of miracles. Remember, miracles are improbable. And we usually separate ourselves from the miracles when well, the miracles are always happening, but we miss them happening when we get too caught up in our head and logic and reason and steps. So the big question is, where in your life are you compromising? Where in your life are you compromising? That question is for the heart, not the head. If you are compromising, if you are, then the answer will be usually immediately there. It can be a big thing like a career or a relationship, or it can be a smaller thing like, I know I compromise every time I grab that cookie jar or whatever, it doesn't need to be such an epic thing. But compromise it is nonetheless, and it's corrosive at whatever degree, degree it is. Okay. So, where in your life are you compromising? Has anything come to mind? You don't have to share it publicly, but if it has, then the invitation is to very much take steps to stop it. Take steps to stop it. Please, please, please. Like I said, compromise convinces us to play small, and to compromise, we have to buy into the illusions of the mind. We have to believe its limitations, its fears, its worst case scenario, future things, and it will usually keep us stuck in the thing we don't really want. And that's the funny thing about it. I remember when I was talking to my friend about this years ago, he said, so many people are living like better burnt toast than no toast at all. And they're scared of letting go of the thing they don't want for fear of losing the thing they don't actually want. How funny. They're scared of letting go of the compromise. They're scared of letting go of the thing they don't want for fear of no longer having the thing they don't want. Now, you could say, no, I'm scared of not getting anything else. The thing I really want, I'm scared of getting that. But either way, you currently don't have what you want, so you might as well go for the thing that you want. You might end up with something else you don't think you want, but at least you're making waves. You're making your way towards something else. But it's so funny how often people cling on to a really shitty relationship for fear of being without a really shitty relationship. Or a job that they really hate, that they count the hours 8 till 6, Monday to Friday, So don't let the fear of not having the thing you don't want stop you from going for the thing you actually want. Okay. You don't have to go out next door and split up with your partner or, leave your job tomorrow, but you can start making steps towards an uncompromised life. And the peace that naturally resides in the heart of an uncompromised soul is priceless and immense. And finally, let go to let grow. Number 10. Let go to let grow. Teaching number 10. Basically, and this is supporting the meditation we're about to do, is harnessing the power of the universe requires you to come from the most surrendered place possible. Harnessing the power of the universe requires you to come and be engaging the universe from the most surrendered place possible. There's a direct link between surrendering control and manifesting miracles. There's a direct link between surrendering control and manifesting miracles. Okay? The more we're micromanaging everything, the less open we are to the improbable happening from surprising sources. We're much more fixated and attached to how we think it's going to happen. That often slows its manifestation. Believe it or not, we're often slowing its manifestation. And that's why one of the things you need to let go of when playing in this realm of miracles is things happening when you think they should. I know the classical goal settings theories are always time, has to be time based, has to be time. You have to have a specific time. And I get that for working within the corporate world or whatever, then that makes sense, you know. You have a goal and you have a team and you're working towards it. And it's not just someday, it's we're going to aim to get this done by a certain launch date or whatever. So I understand that. But when it comes to our personal way of engaging life, I would let go of the time of when you think it could happen. Because the minute you put a time on it, sometimes you're going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it could have happened faster if you'd let it in. If you hadn't been so fixated on the actual date and time that it's going to happen by, and you're just wide open, you don't know if it's going to happen in 2 minutes or 2 weeks or 2 years. You know, we have to be willing to let go of the illusion of later. We have to be willing to let go of the illusion of later, because the mind will often push things into the future to the degree to which you feel worthy and deserving, and it's okay for you to experience it. And that security blanket of later, which pacifies our own current undeservingness or unworthiness or whatever, that it's a forever throws it into the future. Does that make sense? If it isn't here now, outer reflects the inner. What is blocking it now? That is the question. Often when we say, I'm going to meet someone, but in the next year, that's because we're hoping at some level in this illusion of later that hopefully we'll feel completely worthy of it by then, deserving of it. It's not the only reason why I push into the future, but I'm just saying, let go completely and be operating from the most surrendered place possible. Remember, surrender is letting go, but it's also letting in. Remember? To let go and to let in. Intending to engage life from the most surrendered place possible will help to highlight when our desires become like unhealthy needs, attachments. I can't be happy and at peace until something external changes, that kind of attachment. We're going to see when we're over controlling things, because we're going to be tense and stressed and things are going to have to happen a certain way. We can be detached but still very determined. And I go back to the first point today. How am I detached and still determined? By making your heart's highest hope the most important thing, and recognizing I can only experience that now, being, not later doing. I can experience my heart's highest hope now, being. If you're ever unsatisfied or lacking fulfillment, now is because you're missing yourself. And you aren't giving all of your attention to here. You aren't filling yourself up with now. You're too busy looking to the future that you're missing the fruits of here. And the fruits of here are sweet and tasty. And they fill you up if you're willing to give your undivided attention to bringing them in through the five senses. Bring all of yourself here, now. Not later once the webinar is over, but now. Here. All of yourself. No effort. By just resting into that which already is 100% here, now, being. From here, filled up with now, anything else is a bonus. Any life circumstance is a bonus. That's the state to be playing with, manifesting miracles. That's the state to be in when manifesting miracles. Fill yourself up with the abundance of the present moment. Okay? All of yourself. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys have made some time to be with me tonight, because what I want to do is I want to have a wee time out, and then we'll come back and we'll do the meditation. Welcome back. Welcome back. So we've so far been covering a number of the inner teachings shared in New Beginnings. I've been sharing some more up to date, or what I felt like sharing today with you about these inner teachings, and the meditation pulls together the different teachings. Okay, so they're drawing upon outer reflects the inner, heart's highest hope, be here now, rest in being, positive focus has power, and let go to let grow. So it's bringing that the philosophies there in to a very simple meditation, which I'm intentionally trying to hold myself back from telling you more about, because I want it to be self-sufficient and make sure that all the instructions are enough for you to follow. And we'll find out at the end if they were. Okay, so shall we do it? Welcome to this Power of Om meditation. Begin by sitting or laying comfortably before closing your eyes and just being here. Be where your body is. Be where creation is creating, and where all miracles are manifested. Right here, always now. Just be gently alert with your attention forward and wide open, and with nothing else to do except this meditation. To align your attention with Om is to align your attention with the power of creation, which you are one with. It is incredibly powerful, as are you. For this meditation, you need to know your heart's highest hope. This is what you want more than anything else right now. So without overthinking it, and by letting your heart be your guide, what do you currently want more than anything else? Consider it now. Whatever intention you marry Om up with in your mind, you can help to bring into creation. So, to harness the creative power of Om, you will now choose your own personal Om thought. This is unique to you and can be whatever you want to create, experience, and bring more of into your life. For example, if you want to improve your relationships, then Om Love or connection, or belonging would be a powerful thought to use. Or if you want to create more money, then abundance, blessings, opportunities, or even miracles are good examples. Or if you have a preferred state of being that you'd like to experience more, then peace, calmness, happiness, joy, or contentment could be your thought. Although I've given multiple examples, please choose one now, either from my examples or something else you want, so that you have your own thought to use during this meditation. Decide upon it now. Sit for a few moments with the intention of your thought in mind, being gently alert with your attention wide open and breathing nice and deep and easy. The outer reflects the inner, so rest within, knowing what you'd like to manifest. That's right. Rest in being. You know this state of effortless being, just resting here, now, gently aware, wide and open. You can be here now in the powerful presence of your innermost being. I will now invite you to think your personal thought along with a series of 4 different focus points, all designed to help bring your intention into your physical body and out into your world. Whenever I say I want you to think your complete thought, peace, love, abundance, or whatever thought you're using today. Clear on the instructions? Let's go within and begin. With your focus in your heart, think Having introduced your complete thought, let the feeling of the intention linger. That's right, if you want peace, let the feeling of peace linger, or if you want abundance, let what it feels like to be abundant linger. Let the intention and its corresponding feeling linger. All while being gently alert with your awareness wide and open. Feel free to think your thought as often as you wish to until we move on, while being gently alert with your awareness wide open. With your focus in your heart, think Feel free to think your thought as often as you wish to, letting the feeling of the intention linger, while being gently aware, wide and open. . Now, with your focus in your entire body, think Om. Having thought your complete Om thought, let the feeling of the intention linger. Feel free to think it as often as you wish to until we move on, while being gently aware, wide and open. With your focus in your entire body, think Om. Let the feeling of the intention linger. Feel free to think it as often as you wish to until we move on, being gently alert with your awareness wide and open. Now, with your focus in your world, think Om. Having thought your complete Om thought, let the feeling of the intention linger. Feel free to think it as often as you wish to until we move on, while being gently alert with your awareness wide open. With your focus in your world, think Om. Let the feeling of the intention linger. Feel free to think it as often as you wish to until we move on, while being gently alert with your awareness wide open. Now, with your focus in the heart of your body world, think Om. Having thought your complete Om thought, let the feeling of the intention linger. Feel free to think it as often as you wish to until we move on, while being gently alert with your awareness wide open. And finally, with your focus in the heart of your body world, think Om. Let the feeling of the intention linger. Feel free to think it as often as you wish to until we move on, being gently alert with your awareness wide open. It's time to bring this meditation to a close. To end, and while feeling thankful, think, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. And so it is. When you're ready to be what you want to see in the world, slowly open your eyes to return to being fully awake and aware. Thank you for joining me for this Power of Om meditation. Bye for now. How was that? Did you like that? We participate in the manifestation of our own miracles by being willing to help the intention, the thought-based intention, find its way into the physical world. Our thoughts are the unmanifest. Their first step into the manifest physical world is through our feelings. Within our body and out into the world. And that's what inspired the focus points for this meditation, starting in your heart, to your entire body, into your world, and in the heart of the body world. And that final one, you may go, huh? Where is that? But again, I invite you just to have the intention and let the almost let focus find itself without being too word salady and flowery with it. You don't have to logically know. Just follow what feels right. Okay? Follow what feels right. But we go from the unmanifest into the manifest through the realm of emotion and feeling and focus. And I think it's a really nice meditation. And I hope you are willing and want to play with it a bit more. Like I said, I'm going to make it one of the guide meditations in the meditations library. So I'll announce when that's there, when it's ready. So, how was that? Did you like that today? We had a nice time. We've had the theme of new beginnings and manifesting miracles. Last time we focused on really letting go of the how, really engaging the joy of manifestation, trying to get back to the magic of it all. You know, within the mundane and all the stuff that's going on in the world, we can get a bit heavy and get a bit logic and get a bit mindy, and it can just, we can lose the magic. And it's really lovely to live with that magic. And it's so much, it's very much associated with joy. Like I said before, many times, right back in Mind Calm book and Mind Calm, it's all, joy is the movement of creation. It's, in the biblical terms, it would be the Holy Spirit. It's the movement of life. The more we lack joy, the harder it is to create and manifest, and especially the more we lack joy, the harder it is to be in that manifesting miracle space. And so the good news is you're going to find a direct correlation between the more you're willing to play with what we've been playing with manifesting miracles, these inner teachings, and the experience of more joy and aliveness and vitality in your life. So I really hope you play with them, play with what we've shared this last few hours, this month. I've really enjoyed doing this theme. I love it. And I love being able to come back and end with talking you through a meditation on Om, which, as you know, is the root vibration. Everything in the physical world, everything in creation, at the root of it is that vibration of Om, and then it moves into whatever form it happens to be. So when you marry Om up with any intention, you're really turbo boosting that and helping it come into creation. So super powerful. And so this power of Om meditation, I think, is pretty appropriate and a lovely conclusion to our theme on new beginnings and manifesting miracles. Thanks for joining me for today's episode. Please like, subscribe, and write a review wherever you happen to be listening. It really does help to support me and this podcast. For more information about my one-to-one sessions, Calm Clan community, books, and academy courses, head over now to minddetox.com.